Welcome to G3, Games, Gadgets, and Guests, an audio and video podcast from 702 Communications. I'm your host, Brian Crommett. I've got a gadget episode for you today, and today we're going to be talking about the Google Home. If you've been a long-time listener or watcher, you've probably heard me talking about the Amazon Echo before, and I've been using that at home for quite a while, actually. But Amazon is not the only player in this space. And so today we wanted to bring out probably one of the most talked about competitors, the Google Home. I've actually had the Home in my home for quite a while now, but haven't been able to review it because it kind of lacked functionality, at least in the space that I've built. What I mean by that really is I could ask Google Home what the weather is. I could ask it what a whale sounds like. We've probably all seen those commercials. And even though that's kind of cool, that's not really what I want to use my my Home Assistant for. I want to use it for turning off and on my lights and all of the other home automation stuff that I think is cool. So because I got the Echo first, I built all of my home automation features around the Echo. So if something could pair directly to the Echo without me needing a hub or a switch or some other piece of equipment to run it, that's what really I was looking for. So when I first fired up the Google Home, it paired with absolutely nothing that I had bought to pair with my Echo. So really, you run out of functionality pretty quickly when all you can ask is the weather and for it to play some music. And if that's all it does, it gets put back in the box. And that's what happened with the Google Home. And it sat on the shelf in my tech closet for months. So we've been patiently waiting. And when my producer and I were talking about, well, what should we do for this podcast? I said, you know what? Let's just do the Google Home. Even if it doesn't do anything, we can talk about how it doesn't do anything. And so I pulled it back out of its box. I plugged it back in and found that it had done some updates. And so now it does pair with almost everything that the Echo does. And so let's talk about Google Home. I got some pros for you. So let's dive right in here. The pros. I would say that the design, the footprint of the Google Home is definitely better than the Echo. It doesn't sit on your counter and look like an appliance like the Echo does. I mean, the Echo is just a big black tube, that sits there, and you know that that's what it is. It's definitely an Echo. The Google Home is just a little bit more stylish, so I can appreciate that. Also, as far as the sound goes, I like the speaker in the Google Home better than I like in the Echo. It's just a little bit warmer, just a little bit richer. I enjoy that. As far as the voice controls, the Google Assistant is more conversational than Alexa is, and so I kind of enjoy that. She's a little bit sassier. They've kind of given her a little bit more personality. Quick example, I mean, even when you're just setting a timer, if you want to set a timer for, when you're baking something in the kitchen or something, she'll say 15 minutes starting now. So she'll introduce just this little bit of pause, dramatic pause there. In fact, hey Google, set a timer for 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes, and we are starting now.
So just a little bit. Hey Google, cancel timer.
All right, consider it canceled.
So it's just, like I say, just a little bit more personality than you get with the Echo, which, the Echo doesn't bother me. I really like the succinct, commands with the Echo too. So the other thing that I really like, because I started out with the Echo in the kitchen, is the Google Home does a better job of spitting out a recipe for you. And I know that Amazon's made strides, but at the very beginning anyway, it couldn't tell you a drink recipe at all. And so it's nice to have a bartender right there on your counter too, right? So the last night I just asked it for a recipe for a Pimm's cup. That's a good summer cocktail, and so spit the recipe right out, and It also said that if you want more information on this recipe or if you want to see more details, just go ahead to the companion app and I've got more information for you right on your phone too. So I thought that was cool. But then where the home really shines is in internet searches. So Alexa, when you do a search, you're really searching Wikipedia pages and her own knowledge base. But when you're searching with Google Home, you're searching Google, and so you get a wider breadth of knowledge with the Google Home. So I really think that that's hands down better if you're using that in your house, that feature. And then, like I say, the home automation. The list of home automation devices that the home supports does continue to grow. It controls the Wemo plugs, my LifeX bulbs, my TP-Link plugs, and my TP-Link bulbs. The only thing that the home doesn't control today is my Sensi thermostat. So that was a pretty good list. I'd say, the home has a lot going for it there. But there are a couple cons. So if you would have seen when we were trying to set up here before the podcast, just getting it set up on a different Wi-Fi network took a lot of doing, and there was a lot of something went wrong, the error message that she'll give you. And she'll give you that error message whenever anything goes wrong. So sometimes you ask for the weather and you'll hear something went wrong. Try again in a few minutes. And those simple, infuriating error messages are enough to make me put something away forever too. And I read about that on the internet, and people say it could be anything from network congestion to a dropped packet to whatever that makes it return that. But so reliability is kind of an issue there. And then the second big thing really is interoperability. Like I say, it sat on a shelf in my house for a couple months. It does have a lot more interoperability now. In fact, as I was looking around, it looks like it has just over around 200 third-party connections to it now, which is fairly good if you don't take into consideration that the Echo has about 11,000 third-party connections right now. So people are still programming for the Echo. People are still really, or the developers anyway, really feel like that's the leader in the space. But the home is making strides. So at the end of the day, would I recommend the home? Probably, sure. I mean, if you're looking for a home assistant, you haven't made a commitment yet, maybe you've got a Nest in your house already. The home definitely is a good adder, and it's probably the cheapest of the functional home assistants, coming in at about $130 compared to the Echo's $170. So you save a little bit of money, you get most of the functionality, and it's a pretty solid product. Will I switch? Honestly, probably not. I've got an Echo, I've got a Dot, and they're in a couple places in my house, and they work really well for me, and I've kind of bonded. But if Alexa and I ever have a falling out, then I know that Google's there, and I could certainly try to move it to that too. So that's my review on the Google Home. I hope you found a couple pieces of information that are good for you there. If you liked my review here, I've got plenty more gadgets and games and plenty more guests coming up on the podcast. So we do hope you'll be back. We do hope you'll like us, subscribe us, friend us. Tell all your friends about us. We're on SoundCloud. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're pretty much everywhere that you need podcast content to be. So until next time, I'm Brian Cromit. This is G3. Game on.